Beijing, 1995, and over 30,000 women and men attended the largest meeting the United Nations has ever held, the Fourth World Conference on Women.
This is a long-awaited day.
189 governments committed themselves to policies to improve the lives of women, policies on poverty, violence, education, health, reproductive and sexual rights, and women as leaders. But agreement is one thing, action another. For this edition of Life, broadcasters from 26 countries contributed their reports on just what has been achieved and just how far there is still to go, 5 years after Beijing. For decades in Northern Ireland, women and children bore the brunt of the conflict between Catholic and Protestant groups. But over the last 5 years, women's work within the community and their approach towards peace finally gained recognition.
Women united across the peace line because it was easier for women to cross. So therefore there was a great networking set up over the really bad days of the Troubles. I live about 200 yards from the peace line, and the peace line's 23 feet high and runs for 11 miles. Now the problems on both sides of that brick wall were the same. If there was an incident happened on the Catholic side of the peace line, we crossed the peace line and supported them very visibly. We were seen to support them. We didn't hide the fact that we were visiting their homes. We didn't hide the fact that we were saying to them, hey, we're here for you. And on the same way, if anything happened, for instance, when the Shankill bomb happened here, and we had a dreadful Saturday afternoon when 9 innocent people were killed, again, the Catholic people supported us. And it's all about being visible and standing together.
There was a feeling that the future of Northern Ireland was going to be decided by men. And while 20 or 30 years ago this might have been acceptable, but in the 1990s, you know, people were saying, hold it a minute. Women have a right to have a say in their future, particularly when it comes to peacemaking.
Have you ever in Northern Ireland seen a group of all shades of political colour sitting in one place at one time, all ready to talk to each other?
So in 6 weeks, we stood for election and came 9th party in Northern Ireland. We were all prepared to forget, or not to forget, but to leave our political baggage at the door and talk together and work together and plan together for a common approach, for a common future, for peace.
The press conference has been called this morning to launch our manifesto.
Experiences are universal. And that's what's changed now, that women have moved on. They've fought their right to be there. They've gone out and competed, and now they need to lead. And I think that that's what we did when we were in the negotiations and afterwards when we went on into the elections, is to be able to show that we were as capable of competing and governing and leading as the men had been, who were the normal, established constitutional parties.
But in other countries around the world, women are still fighting for their share of leadership roles.
In some countries, the leadership is really trying to, be more articulate and speak out, but that's not uniform. And so I think we must make sure that all countries now start to give some, strong support at the leadership at all levels, religious, political, etc.
Nigeria's population of 120 million elected a democratic government in 1999, but even though women played a key role in the elections, they voted but weren't voted for. Only 15 out of 469 members of the government today are women. Terry Harriman is one. She represents Warri City in the oil-rich Niger Delta, a region where the wealth of natural resources, unemployment and environmental pollution sit uncomfortably side by side. But Terry Harriman's success did not come without a fight.
My election was in February 1999, and I contested against two men, one in PDP, one in AD. And everything went well. Then suddenly we heard that the results from Warri and certain other areas in Delta State were being suspended for security reasons. They refused to declare my result for the next 3 weeks. By this time I had my certificate, I had won.